These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground report, Firefly. The funding for all of the 2024 last Wednesday was suspended and it was changed. They must be using the new exchange rate. They changed it and they sent it to the Council of Ministers for the review. Then it is to be sent to the House for a vote. It should be going for a vote at any time. We think it's going to move to a dollar 132, making it 76 cents, which is not more than the dollar like Sadani promised, until they add the new exchange rate to it, and that's what we're expecting. Militiaman says al-Sudani talked about having the dinar be 1.32 dinars to the dollar. Turns out to be around 76 cents. That's a big bit of purchasing power for the citizens. Is it what they're going to end up with in the future based off all the natural resources that all the non-oil maximized income, tourism, all the extra stuff you never had when Saddam Hussein was in office? Saddam Hussein's $3.22 to 1 dinar was based off of $35 a barrel of oil. Oil is pushing $85 today. They have surplus money coming from all these different places. Jeff says one of the major things Iraq has to do before they can revalue the currency is they have to pause all their money. They have to suspend it, freeze it. As of Friday, both the central bank and the government of Iraq paused and froze all their monies. What does that mean to us? By them suspending all their monies between the central bank and government, that makes this past weekend the first eligible weekend for Iraq to be able to revalue the currency. Walking Stick says Sudani is starting the monetary reform education by using the official rate, which is 1320. He's using 1320 and explaining the possible rate, 1.32 to 1 American dollar. In my opinion, the reinstatement could take that international rate further. Claire article quote, Iron and Steel Company, Iraq is on the verge of a major industrial revolution. All right, Pimpy says deleting of the zeros means a redenomination. Article quote, the Iraqi government is currently weighing the question of changing the currency. It didn't say exchange rate. What it says is currency. Pimpy says the definition of the quote, redenomination is a government policy in simplifying currency values without changing in the exchange rate, unquote. Pimpy says if we can get them to change the exchange rate without removing the zeros, then we're sitting pretty. Yada says, be of good cheer, folks. This is unfolding before our eyes. What we are expecting is taking place. The articles last week regarding 1.32 in Iraq was telling the people what to expect. The salaries, contracts, infrastructure are at a point. The real effective exchange rate will activate it all. Today to tonight is very good for us. Frank 26, Firefly Bank friend says al-Sudani is making an announcement during Ramadan. Remember, he'll go to Washington, D.C., but after he comes back, I believe this rate, 1.32 dinar to $1, with the deletion of the zeros, will coincide with the WTO. We are basically in a countdown. Frank says the final countdown. Let's roll. I think when they finish with Washington, D.C., and they come back, we may see what we're looking for. Frank continued to say, I am crazy excited. Your Prime Minister al-Sudani and the Governor of CBI al-Alaq and the Board of Directors are constantly telling you they're going to give you 1.32 dinars to $1 and a new exchange rate to match it with lower notes. It looks like the next 2 weeks will be very loud on the monetary reform education. Be ready to move quick. Militiaman says if al-Sudani says the dinar, hold on to it, it's going to be stronger than the dollar. 76 cents is not stronger than the dollar in the real effective exchange rate, and you can easily get over $1. Jeff says Iraq technically does not need to amend the budget if they're not changing their rate. The budget already covers their operating expenses. but they would need surplus funds to cover the reforms. The reforms are contingent upon the rate changing. They can't bring reform packages forward if the rate does not change. The only reason they're amending the budget is because the rate is changing. The step of amending the budget can happen either before or after the rate changes. They will probably announce Thursday or Friday as to when they plan to amend the budget, which they'll probably do around this weekend. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK says, I think the news is getting restricted as we're getting closer. I think the quiet is a positive sign. A number of sources were giving cautionary notices to be quiet or NDAs. So to me, it's a great sign that things are quiet. Contacts in Iraq and around the world still think we are within days. But they have thought that before, so not going to jump out of my skin just yet. The quiet is probably the thing that is the most encouraging to me right now.